Welcome to History Decoded, where today we journey into the world of ancient Sparta. Not the Sparta of heroic warriors and legendary battles, but Sparta under Roman rule, a shadow of its former self, yet still influential in surprising ways. In the 5th century BCE, Sparta was a name that struck fear and awe across the ancient world. Known for its elite soldiers, its disciplined society, and a life structured entirely around warfare, Sparta was synonymous with power and toughness. But by the time Rome arrived in Greece in the mid-2nd century BCE, that once fearsome Sparta was a relic of its past. Its military might had faded, and the glory of Thermopylae and other iconic battles had dimmed. In 146 BCE, after a series of wars, Rome decisively conquered Greece, marking a significant shift in power in the Mediterranean. While the Romans were respectful of Greek culture, particularly art, philosophy, and even certain aspects of governance, they saw Sparta as more of a historical curiosity than a real political player. Sparta was absorbed into the Roman Empire as part of the province of Achaea, a new administrative region that encompassed much of Greece. Despite the sweeping changes that came with Roman rule, Sparta managed to retain a measure of independence and autonomy. The Romans allowed Sparta certain freedoms and preserved its internal governing structures, including its Gerousia, or Council of Elders. This was a mark of respect and a political move, as it allowed Rome to keep peace by acknowledging Sparta's historical role and reputation. Rome's fascination with Sparta was fueled by a deep admiration for Spartan culture. Spartan society had famously emphasized discipline, austerity, and loyalty to the state, qualities that resonated strongly with Roman ideals. Although the militaristic spirit of Sparta was not what it once had been, the legend of the Spartans endured, and Romans were drawn to it. For many in the Roman elite, Sparta represented a sort of ideal of ancient virtue, a society built on self-restraint, honor, and resilience. In fact, wealthy Romans sometimes sent their sons to Sparta to experience a Spartan education, a kind of cultural tourism that allowed them to learn about Spartan discipline and training firsthand. Under Roman rule, Sparta began to lean into its image as a warrior society. Though it was no longer a serious military threat, Sparta used its warrior legacy as a form of cultural capital. The Spartans organized festivals and events where they demonstrated martial arts, drills, and combat practices. For the Romans, these displays were both entertainment and a celebration of a proud martial history that Rome sought to emulate. These performances were meant to evoke memories of Sparta's peak, providing a living museum of sorts where Spartans showcased their history and preserved their cultural identity. Roman tourists and dignitaries marveled at these spectacles, which became a unique way for Sparta to maintain relevance and honor its past. Spartan ideals seeped into Roman life, especially within the military. Roman soldiers trained hard, enduring harsh conditions and rigorous discipline, and there were clear parallels with the ideals of ancient Spartan soldiers. The Romans adopted some elements of the Spartan approach to physical conditioning and training, particularly the emphasis on endurance, resilience, and unity. Spartan discipline was held up as an example of how to form and maintain an elite fighting force. Roman generals and philosophers often referenced Sparta as a model of civic duty and loyalty to the state, viewing Sparta's decline as a warning about the dangers of losing one's way due to luxury or complacency. While the Romans admired the Sparta of old, the actual state of Sparta under their rule was far from its former glory. By the 2nd century BCE, Sparta had suffered from a series of internal conflicts population decline and economic struggles. The famed Spartan warriors of this era were no longer the battle-hardened soldiers of Thermopylae or Plataea. Instead, they were performers, reenacting the battles of old for the entertainment of Roman audiences.